If that's what he's looking for, we're not going there.
This debt limit increase is his problem.
As long as this president is in the Oval Office, a real solution is probably unattainable.
When the government is wasting as much money as the government is wasting day in and day out, there's no such thing as anybody paying their fair share of taxes. When the government cannot manage what it already has, our tax money is simply being stolen from us. So no, there's no such thing as somebody paying their fair share. What bothers me is Obama trying to make the end result of this to be as painful as possible and make as many people suffer. Corporate taxes on corporate jets are what, $30 billion out of a $2.2 trillion budget? I mean, come on, give me a break here. You know, there's lies, there's damn lies, and there's MSNBC polls. I mean, come on, give me a break here. I say John Boehner should step down and let a real conservative step up there, because all he wants to do is haul up his freshly laundered white flag of surrender. He wants to do it early and he wants to do it often. I'd like to see him do the job that the American people actually put him in that office to do. Cut spending, cut taxes, stimulate the economy, get us out of the Obama depression.
But Mark, what you're saying makes sense to me here when I'm hearing what you say, but then I read on your blog, you say you call the president an Indonesian Muslim turned welfare thug and a racist in chief. I mean, yeah. Is that the kind of...
That's the way he's behaving.
But
I mean, if he cares to be...
Do you believe he's Indonesian? Do you believe he's Muslim? Do you really believe he's a welfare thug?
He's certainly acting like it. And this has nothing at all to do with healthcare other than healthcare has become the metaphor for all the different socialist policies that are being rammed down our throats by this president, or that he's trying to ram down our throat. It's about TARP. It's about taking money from working stiffs and giving it to the big corporations. It's about the corporate takeover of Washington, D.C. It's about the representatives of the people representing everybody but the people. It's about this nation deviating from, or this government more accurately, deviating from this nation's legacy and destiny. If you think this is about health care, then you're missing the entire point. This is Americans being attacked by their own government and rising to the defense of their nation.
The black will take over. It's not a Christian. This is a Christian nation. What is our country going to end up like?
Related to a known terrorist, for one.
He is friends with a terrorist of this country.
He must support terrorists. You know, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. And that, to me, is Obama.
Obama and his wife, I'm concerned that they could be anti-white, that he might hide that.
I don't like the fact that he thinks us white people are trash. Because we're not.
Oh, man, it seems like I've answered this question a million times in the last week, and folks still, I guess, aren't understanding it. At least reporters don't seem to be understanding it. Even your own Shep Smith there on Fox News, he announced the other day that I was on some publicity tour. I'm publicizing Americana and our foundation and how important it is that we learn about our past and our challenges and victories throughout American history so that we can successfully proceed forward. Very heady days, rough waters ahead of us, Chris. We need to make sure that we have a strong grasp of our foundational victories so we can move forward. You know what? I didn't mess up about Paul Revere. Here's what Paul Revere did. He warned the Americans that the British were coming, and they're going to try to take our arms, so we got to make sure that we were protecting ourselves and shoring up all of our ammunitions. And part of Paul Revere's ride, and it wasn't just one ride, he was a courier, he was a messenger. Part of his ride was to warn the British that were already there that, hey, you're not going to succeed, you're not going to take American arms, you are not going to beat our own well-armed persons, individual private militia that we have. And in a shout out, gotcha type of question that was asked of me, I answered candidly, and I know my American history.
We don't think there is any precedent for it in American history. We don't think there is any precedent for the spouse of a sitting Supreme Court justice being engaged in political activism to the extent that the wife of Associate Justice Clarence Thomas is doing right now, and of which we have tape. In general, the family member of a Supreme Court justice would not be somebody whose activities would be considered inherently newsworthy. Same goes, at least as far as I'm concerned, for politicians' families, unless they get themselves involved in politics.
Thank you so much. Despite the lies from the other side, despite the intimidation. You are America's political first responders, and we thank you for coming out. I've been living and working in the Washington, D.C. area for 30 years, and I'm here to tell you a couple of things that they're not going to tell you. First of all is they're scared to death of you. Let me tell you, there's a war going on, and Washington wants to make it look real complicated, real technical. It's not so complicated. It's not so technical.
He's not. He's an Arab.
Barack Obama, at a very young age, from like age 1 to 6, was with Islamic. I think he's a one-man terrorist.
I think he's a communist and a
Wait,
Marxist.
I want to see what you got underneath.
You think he's a communist?
Yes.
What makes you say that?
Well, I think he was indoctrinated by teachings of his father.
You know, he only saw his father twice in his entire
I know,
life.
but his teachings, the teachings of his father, not personally.
This is little Hussein. Little Hussein wanted to see truth and good Americans.
Right up front, is that appropriate for you to call the president a liar? Is it appropriate for any of us to call the president of our country that?
He's not being truthful with the American people. So, you know, look, I'm tired of politicians all over the place who don't talk straight and just say what they believe. Let's cut through all the crud and try to solve issues here. Let's quit being political, and I think that's all this president's been doing. They know, we know that he's going to continue down this line and try to scare military families and try to scare families who have student loans and just continue to go down the line instead of getting serious with Republicans. But they keep making this inference that come August 2nd, the lights in the country are going to go out. No, I think what most of us freshmen who were sent to Washington believe we have to do is change structurally the way this town does business.
Yes, Barack Obama is a liar.
Was he born in Hawaii? Do you believe he was born in Hawaii according to the truth of that birth certificate?
Stop yelling, behave like a human being.
Will you talk about his birth certificate?
Behave like a human
Will
being?
you talk about his birth certificate?
Harvard is not preparing human beings. This is Barack Obama's. So
let me get this straight. You are coming on this show and you're not going to talk about his birth certificate?
Barack Obama is committing Social Security fraud.
Are you going to talk about his birth certificate?
Social Security number that Barack Obama is using.
Get her out of here. Get her off this show. Get out.
It's not
You're not going to talk about the birth certificate or all it takes. Go home. You're fired. Go play with Donald Trump.
Yes.
A prominent Orange County Republican is accused of spreading hate. Her target, President Obama, depicted as a monkey.
I have never seen anything like this from an elected official before. It's just stunning.
In an email sent out to an unknown number of elected officials, Marilyn Davenport, a member of the Central Committee of the Orange County Republican Party, sent this photo along with the phrase, "Now you know why no birth certificate."
No.
Remember this email of the White House watermelon patch sent by the mayor of Los Alamitos? Schroeder says while others demanded he step down, Davenport defended him. And when a Newport Beach City Council member voted against installing grass turf near the beach because, quote, "with grass we usually get Mexicans," Schroeder says she defended him as well.
That's 3 strikes.
We wanted to ask Marilyn Davenport about this tonight, but she hung up the phone too quickly. Davenport admitted she sent the email, calling it a joke meant for her friends. She called the issue ridiculous, blaming the news media for blowing it out of proportion.
I think the United States of America should be run by somebody from the United States of America.
But he's from the U.S.
Right.
He was born here. He's been raised here.
But he's Muslim. Right.
But why do you think he's Muslim? He wasn't raised Muslim.
But I don't agree with that.
You feel like there's a lie behind that?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
He's a Muslim communist.
You seriously think Barack Obama's a Muslim?
Yeah. And he thinks he's a terrorist?
Why do you think he's a Muslim?
His wife made him say he's a Christian so he could get elected.
I say publicly what most folks already know and think, but dare to do so only in private. And my radio show is the only radio show in America where people can call up and say whatever they want about racial issues.
Turner is the latest in a long list of extremists who have played to fear and ignorance.
I am being discriminated against because I'm white.
So you're bitter.
I am offended that the culture that developed and built and paid for this country is now being put at the back of the bus, so to speak, because for some reason or another, all these lower cultures and lower races are more important, and I find that disgusting. But the point I'm trying to make is, this is a simple way for white people to say they are fed up with black crime.
Do you know what those nooses mean to African Americans? Do you care? Do you care what it means to an African American?
No, I'm tired of caring about what things mean to different people of different races. Justice.
And sooner or later, somebody, somewhere, has to say enough. Enough. And I'm saying it now. Enough. You cannot allow a half-breed nigger in the White House. These people would be running around in loincloths fucking camels if we didn't bring them out of Africa, and now they want to give him the most powerful political office on the planet? It's insanity. It cannot be allowed.
Well, I'm not going to have to worry about it because somebody else down south is going to take him out. If that man is elected president, he'll be shot sure as hell.
Larson wouldn't tell us details about how he believes Obama would be killed, only who might pull the trigger.
The hate would be so deep from down south, it would definitely be a Southerner.
In a previous interview, he added, quote, "Are there people who would be troubled with an African-American president? Yes.